All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. This is Moose along with Harry Mays and Danielle Matthews will be joining us soon. We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook and driven by our friends at Mall Chevrolet. And we are joined by a gentleman named Jack Hirsh, part of the editing team at Golf, or maybe you say golf.com, or maybe you say Golf Magazine, Harry. We don't know. It's just golf.
It's golf.
It's golf.
Yeah.
Right. But the good thing is we got some local roots here too. So we love when people work in the game, but know the area, play the area. Jack, welcome to Swing It and Ding It, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, appreciate it.
So give us a little bit of your background, your start from in the area, coaching, playing, all that stuff.
Oh gosh, well, how far do you want to?
Give us your whole journey.
So I guess Philly stories start. My family moved here when I was in 7th grade. So I've been in the area ever since. We lived in Lower Merion. I played golf at Harriton High School. And then I went to college. I went to Penn State. So basically Philly, 3 hours away. And I studied broadcast journalism, political science, had a sports journalism certificate in there as well. And then I actually went out to Bend, Oregon for 2 years out of school, where I was a multimedia journalist for an NBC and Fox affiliate out there. So by the time I left there, 2 days a week, I was reporting in the field, not necessarily sports focused, but I tried we didn't have a sports staff. So I tried as hard as I could when I found sports stories to do them. I was in line actually to do our Friday night football show, before I left early there. And, so I was there. By the time I left there, I was doing 2 days a week reporting. Saturdays, I did the weather. Sundays, I anchored the news and the evening news. And Wednesdays, I produced the 4 and 5 o'clock newscasts. So
Wow.
a lot of different hats there. And then got an opportunity at Golf Magazine last August is when I started, and let me move back here. This is where my family is. I'm in the Meronk neighborhood of Philadelphia right now. It's halfway in between the city and where my folks live up in Bluebell, and also right near our golf course where I play at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. And then actually just this last month, I started coaching again at Harriton High School. So, I coached last year as an assistant, and now I'm the head coach, which is really, really fun. But yeah, I think that's all we need to know.
Perfect.
That's terrific. Now, if you were in Bend, Oregon, I don't know the geography that well, but did you ever
5 hours from Bandon Dunes?
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Did you ever get out there and play?
The other thing you need to know is that when you go to Bandon Dunes and you fly directly, like as close as you can, like don't go to Eugene or Portland, you go to North Bend or Coos Bay Airport. That is south of Bend. So it's really confusing. North Bend, Oregon is south of Bend, Oregon.
Huh.
And the other thing you need to know is I did play in the Oregon Amateur at Bandon Trails.
Wow.
So that was really, really cool.
Is it everything they say it is?
It is and I only got to play the one course, and I played the Preserve the morning of my first round, which actually was a great experience. I love short courses, par 3 courses, you name it. I love that. The Cricket Club has a tremendous short course in the St. Martin's course. It had the same greens as Bandon Trails. So it was a great move to play the 13 par 3s before going out and playing Bandon Trails. It was everything and more. It's golf's mecca. It really, Scotland is the only thing that can really compare to it.
Wow. Definite bucket list there, Moose.
Oh,
no doubt. Oh yeah, that's way at the top of the list.
So
talk to us about.
I need them to invite me. I need them to invite me back because I need to play the other 5 courses. David McClay kid lives in Bend, and I got to know him, and he's now designing another course there. So, lots of stuff happening there.
Tremendous. I want to talk to you about coaching too, because I find it very interesting coaching in golf. But talk to us about Golf Magazine. I mean, obviously some really good contributors there. We follow, Dylan and James. Obviously the John Rahm interview last week was fantastic. But just talk about what it's like? Was that like kind of a dream for you to get into the world of golf, with your background and what some of the things you love about working there?
Yeah. So one thing I should say that I probably missed with my background, my dad's in the golf business. My dad is a real estate appraiser for golf courses. It's a very, very unique niche thing. And he runs his shop out of Conshohocken. And so golf has always been the family business, I don't pay very often to play golf. That's the thing I like to say. So yeah, golf was it was always my dream to cover golf. Would I like to be doing it on television one day? Yeah, probably. I think being on camera is something I really enjoy, but my biggest thing is I love telling people what's happening and storytelling. That was what I really came to love. That's why I did what I did for 2 years out in Oregon and what I did toward the tail end of my college career. So being able to do it and have this big of a platform has been a dream. Yeah, a dream come true. And obviously some of my colleagues started there right out of college. Some of them, in the case of Dylan DeChair, straight out of playing professional golf. Yeah, it's a place I really enjoy being. It's a place I had a little bit of I came from a situation where I was one of the top guys at my news station, and it's given me a situation where I didn't write regularly for so long. It gave me a little bit of imposter syndrome when I came back and to writing and into the golf space. We have a very young staff, but we have a tremendous staff who are all super, super talented at what they do. And yeah, it's just great to learn from these guys.
Well, speaking of telling stories, in your view, what is the best story from 2023 on the PGA Tour?
On the PGA Tour?
Yeah. Or in golf. We could do PGA Tour and then we could just do golf.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you the best story when we get to that. I'll tell you the best story, I've done. But the best story on the PGA Tour. Wow, you caught me off guard. I should have given we're a week out of the Tour Championship.
Well, I mean, we're coming out of all this live stuff and this, this strife and everything.
Well, I'm taking that and I'm putting that.
Okay.
But it just golf stories.
Like Ricky Fowler won again. Jason Day won again.
Ricky Fowler's a great one.
Yeah.
I know there are better ones than that. Wyndham Clark's really good. I know he's not exactly the sexiest pick, but his kind of story has been really good.
My wife thinks he's sexy for what it's worth. So.
There's a little bit of there's this little soft spot in my heart for him because he's he went to Oregon for a year.
Right.
So I feel like there's something that I got to go back and look at, and then I'm just
let's go to the Ryder Cup because that's the story now.
All right.
And because that's what we're in. That's the time we're in. And the European team was finalized, and I'm telling you right now, Keegan Bradley should relax because Adrian Meronk got
screwed.
Hosed.
Yes.
I mean, win at the Irish Open last July, win at the Australian Open in December, wins the Italian Open this year
at this golf course.
The golf course where they're playing.
Yes, and then finish second in another event there.
Five top tens, fifth in the European Ryder Cup standings. And again, he won at the golf course that they're playing. Yeah. How in the name of God? And it wasn't like there were all of these senior players that you had to have on the team. The captain went with younger guys. I mean, and some of the press conference stuff came out today. He's feeling it. Like he's not just like, he's pissed. And I have to fade him this week, by the way, because I think.
Oh, you are.
Because it's like. To me, it's like, why should I win? Right? Like, okay, it doesn't help me anyway.
I think he's going to try to get a live invitation now. I think that's his goal.
Maybe. But Jack, I mean, obviously a ton of talk about, it was all focused around JT, let's face it, and Brooks making a team from live. But I feel like there was a little bit more controversy, maybe because we're closer to it. But give us your thoughts on both teams and how it all played out.
Well, okay. So I want to, you bring up Meronk. I want to play devil's advocate and say, who do you not take?
I think Ludwig, like, hey, you're a young kid. You haven't played in a major. You get your shot. It's not this year. But it's as simple as that for me.
I would have taken him over Højgaard.
See, I think the Højgaard argument is a little bit easier because obviously now, again, we have 2 weeks until the Ryder Cup, but Aberg's hot.
Yeah.
He's really starting.
He's a stud.
And you tell, and you know, I can't tell you too much about Adrian Meronk's game. I haven't watched him play very much. And that's, you know, that's a lot of the problem when you have some of these guys, you know, for the American press, when you have some of these guys on the European team who don't play often in the States. I just haven't seen very much of him. And I could probably go look up the data golf rundowns on him. But to tell you what, we've seen Ludwig Aberg, and we know he is, well, actually, since he came on tour, he's the best driver of the golf ball on the PGA Tour. When you have a format like the Ryder Cup, when there's going to be alternate shot, and you can kind of use certain guys' strengths to your advantage, it kind of pays to have guys who are really strong in certain areas to help balance out maybe other players who in those formats who aren't. We saw it last year at the President's Cup with, you know, how they rerouted Quail Hollow and all of the par threes were even numbered hole. So Colin Morikawa could hit the tee shots on every par three and basically didn't have to putt the entire, you know, all the times he played in alternate shot.
Yeah.
You know, you have the greatest ball striker on the planet. Use that to your advantage. So I think that if there was no alternate shot and if there was no foursomes in the Ryder Cup, maybe I think there would have been a much tougher I'm sure it was a really tough decision for Luke Donald.
But to your point too, Jack, like, we don't know the personalities, right? This guy can be the worst guy in the locker room. I don't want to put that out there because he might be the best guy in the locker room, but we don't get to see it enough to know, like, some people might not want to play with.
It's a knock on the Polish people. This is Polish discrimination at its finest.
You're going that way. And then, so let's talk about the boys club with the American Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And, you know, Fred Couples basically goes out on his show and says, there's no boys club. Here's what a boys club would look like, though. And it's exactly what has, you know, it's exactly.
Cameron Young would make the team, which he didn't.
Cam Young
and there's a fantastic article, Golf Magazine, written by an up-and-coming great golf contributor saying, awkward, Cam Young snubbed from the U.S. Ryder Cup team despite Fred Couples' assurance. So make sure you go check out Jack's work and see what he has to say in the full article.
That was bizarre. That
crazy.
Fred Couples was even naming guys on the Ryder Cup.
Yeah,
especially Cam Young only started playing well, you know, a couple weeks ago. I guess that probably did come out right after the Open Championship.
Fred's like that gigolo uncle you have that, like, still goes out and parties and, like, says crazy stuff. You know,
that was just strange. I'm very surprised he would make a mistake like that. You know, that's just it's awkward. No other way to put it. And you know what? I simply, at the end of the day, though, Justin Thomas is not playing great golf right now.
No.
What if he? I don't think you can give a player like him, who has played really poorly, missed the cut in 3 out of 4 majors. I don't see how you can give him the benefit of the doubt. I know he's got an outstanding record in team match play.
16-5-2 in President's Cups and Ryder Cups combined.
I believe that's the best since his first match. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't care if you know, maybe he just missed on Eastlake, or maybe just missed out on making the BMW Championship. That's one, but he missed the playoffs completely. He made the cut in 1 major and finished near last. It's just like, okay, it's clearly not his year. He's clearly fighting something. You know,
but he has a month to find it. You know what I mean? And these guys can find it.
And I posted it on our Instagram last night. He had to be trolling us with that video, right? With all the devices and the pool noodles.
Yeah.
There's no way that was legit, and he was just actually doing that. I think he was messing with all of us, and half the people took it because it was insane.
I don't know. I've seen some funky things with golf instruction, and I know Dad's obviously a great instructor.
Do you bust that out for the high school team? Do you
I don't.
I
got them on the. I have them. I don't mess with their swings. I don't mess with their swings. I
was going to ask you that too. That was kind of like what I wanted to get back to.
I only have them for 2 months. We can get to that in a second.
But here's the thing, though. Like we all know, like a lot about playing well in golf is playing with people that you like to play with. That has a lot to do with it. At least and I think it works at their level too. Yeah. So Scotty Scheffler definitely wanted Sam Burns on that team because he loves to play golf with him. Jordan Spieth was going to be on that team. He loves to play with Justin Thomas.
There's no better person to pair those. You can't separate those two.
And Rory McIlroy loves to play with Shane Lowry. He like they're a combo. So I think the Shane Lowry thing, though he hasn't played all that well since he won the Open Championship. I think he won the BMW PGA a year or two ago. Yeah. But outside of that, he really hasn't done a whole lot. But everybody likes him.
And
Rory
guy.
loves to play with
him. Guy.
Yeah. So it's like Meronk and Keegan Bradley are guys where you're just like, I don't want to play with them. Yeah. I think that's really what it comes down to.
I think you're right.
It'd be interesting if Xander Schauffele was in Spieth's position and Patrick Cantlay was in JT's position.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
Cantlay gets in.
No, I think
he does. I think Xander is like I want to play with that guy.
But I don't see Xander as a guy that pulls that much weight yet.
Well, maybe. He doesn't have that personality. It doesn't seem like he has that.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is that Cantlay and Schauffele are like Spieth and Thomas.
Right.
Yeah. Peas in the pod. I think
no doubt about it.
It's like me and Moose.
Yeah. Me and Greeny this weekend, my member guest at the Legacy Club. I had a little emergency 9 warm up today. Things are starting to come together.
Nice.
I'm overcooking the draw a lot, but I think I'm that's easier to fix, I think, than something else. I just got to dial it in. But,
well, do you have to fix it or can you play it? Just play it.
I can play it, but it's a 30-yard draw. It should be.
Yeah.
So I had this the other day. I was playing with a friend of mine. This was like a couple weeks ago before I had a couple qualifiers come up. And, the first 11 holes, I couldn't get the ball to turn over. Couldn't get the ball.
It's crazy. Some days it doesn't turn.
Hole, and we're playing the Militia Hill course at Cricket, if you guys know it.
Yeah.
There's out of bounds all down the left side. And I usually try and hit it at these double trees, turn it back toward, it's way out. You got to hit a bad shot to hit it out there. And I hit the shot, starts in the middle of the fairway and just go off the left. And I say, Will, I totally just found it there. And then there's 5 more par 4s or par 5s on, and every tee shot was just perfect.
It's amazing when you find that.
I had to hit a snap hook to figure it out.
So I want to go back to the coaching part because I think it's incredibly interesting and challenging.
I want to stop because Harry asked me what my favorite story from golf was this year, and I want to just share that quickly.
Please.
I got a really great opportunity to spend some time to interview and then spend some time with the head of the KPMG Women's PGA with Gabby Ruffles. Not sure if you're familiar with the story, but Gabby Ruffles was the 2009 U.S. Women's Am champion. She was the runner-up to Rose Zhang in 2020. Turned pro in 2021 after a pretty good career at USC. And this is all after picking up the game at 15, seriously. Like, picked up the game at 15. Before she turned 16, she was playing in the Australian Women's Amateur.
Wow.
Or junior amateur. Sorry, junior amateur. And shooting like 75 6 months later. After picking up the game. She's just
natural
athlete. Yeah. Insane athlete. Plays on the Epsom Tour in 2022. It's really hard to get your LPGA Tour card, in a half season out of college. In 2022, she's playing on the Epsom Tour. Finishes like $5,000 out of getting her card. Couple of weeks later, or maybe like a week later, after the Epsom Tour Championship, she goes up to Alabama. She lives in Orlando. She goes up in Alabama to play a practice round for the Q School LPGA Series, which is 8 rounds, crazy event. You play 4 rounds at one golf course, and 4 rounds at another golf course the next week. Just an absolute insane, but there's a ton of LPGA Tour cards available at it. And she looks at her phone and saw that she wasn't signed up. The deadline was 3 weeks before, and she was not signed up for Q Series. So she drives back to Orlando, and it's like, whatever. So she's back on the Epson Tour the next year. She wins in her second start. She wins again a couple starts later, and then she qualified. She got an exemption into the KPMG. She qualified for the U.S. Women's Open. And just a week or 2 ago or 3 weeks ago, she just won for the 3rd time. There's no 3-win promotion on the Epson Tour, but she has mathematically clinched her LPGA card for 2024. And now she seems like she's getting sponsor invites into all the LPGA Tour events and doing quite well.
Wow, that's tremendous. Crazy.
Really
what
cool
a turn
story.
of events. Jeez.
Just the talking to her and listening to her mindset, especially for someone who's so new to golf. You know, she's only been playing golf for about 7-8 years. And to just listen to how she thinks through, you know, some serious adversity. I'm trying to work out schedules so she can talk to my team, because I like her attitude is so terrific.
Wow.
To listen to how it's like, she's successful. It's like, it's a no-brainer.
Speaking of terrific attitudes, Danielle Matthews joins us after some technical difficulties. Danielle, welcome in the Swing It and Ding It.
Thank you. Yeah, more difficulties as I need my headphones.
Is that a little PV, little hoodie you got going on there?
Yeah.
Brad Faxon bring you back some gifts or what?
I think Brandon was there.
D was there last week. Yeah. I'm gonna tell Fax to step up.
I heard about it.
He's been on the tour. I need to get a couple different logo swag from him. He's been all over.
No doubt.
Wow.
So Jack, let's talk. I want to talk about Cricket Club, because it's one of my favorite places in the area. Like, if I could play one round in the Philly area, it might be cricket. That's how much I love the place. But talk about coaching, right? What is that like? You're coaching a high school team. You mentioned it. You don't have them for very long. It doesn't sound like it's much on the instruction side. What is it? How do you get these guys to play, motivate them, and have success?
Well, I'm figuring that out right now.
You'll let us know.
That's a great challenge. The nice thing is I have 2 friends and my dad who are helping me out as volunteer assistants, which is, you know, not every high school coach has that. And it's been really nice to have some extra help, especially, you know, coaching is as much about, you know, helping the kids through life as it is helping golf. And, you know, I'm 26 years old. I don't have a ton of life experience, I'll be honest. So it's nice to have more people I can lean on.
How many kids on the team?
We carry 16.
Wow.
I would love to have carried more. We have an 8-person varsity and 8-person JV. I would love to carry more, but it's just like, you know, I would have to have a rotation for the JV team, and I would have to have a rotation for practices, because course access has honestly been the most challenging part of this job. Is getting course access.
Wow.
I could say a lot of things right now that would, you know, are very disappointing to see, because I think, you know, you have high school golfers, and these are, you know, country clubs, future members. These are public golf courses, future customers.
Right.
Courses
should be going out of their ways.
I'm honestly very disappointed to see, you know, and I understand, you know, golf has exploded in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, my dad is in the golf course business, so I understand that these golf courses are busier than ever. But at the same time, I think you also have an obligation to get back to the game.
Your dad sounds like a future guest of Swing It and Ding It, by the way.
I think so,
got a story or two.
We could get him on.
He might have a story or two.
Philadelphia golf stories. He's your man.
Yeah, we do.
That's crazy though. You mentioned golf access, because Brandon, my husband, played at Temple, which is a D1 golf school, and even they had some issues with accessing golf courses. Sorry, my dog has a toy.
I'm going to ship you a bunch of silent dog toys. That's what I'm getting you for Christmas.
I have my thumb on the mute button. I'm just trigger finger over here.
Yeah, it's it sucks because, yeah. And I know other college teams who have been at certain courses and no longer able to play there now. And it's just, I just don't think it's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we'll close out with this because we know you have your golf fantasy draft. I'll tell you, as an experienced person, I would look to draft Vinny Testaverde with your first pick. I think I did that once and I did really well. So maybe
I'm big on my last pick. So like, in my college buddies league, I picked Zach. I always find a real deep cut. And it was Zach Kuntz, who played at Penn State for 3 years, never saw the field, had a good season at Old Dominion last year and didn't get drafted, but he was somehow available in ESPN. So I always find like a deep cut. It could be like, I thought about Sean Clifford this year. I'm like, no, that's too obvious. Trace McSorley is always a good option. Adam Brenham, really deep cut Penn State guys.
Love it. I love it.
I got one question.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead,
after
Harry.
you're done. No, Moose. Go ahead, Moose.
I just want to talk about cricket because I would love to know what you love about it. I played Bethpage Black and I saw some similarities and it like brought me back to a couple holes. But, I don't know. I just love that golf course. It is just the way it shapes, the drama of the hills up and down that closing hole on 18. Like, it just is a special place, and I would love to get your thoughts on why you love.
What my favorite part of the place is? What the favorite part of the place is? It's the St. Martin's course.
Really?
It's a lot of times it's our best greens. First of all, and I love last year before when I was the assistant, I took a couple of our kids out at a time and took them out there and said, okay, if you guys break 40, I'll pay your guest fee, and I set it up really hard, make them only play with 5 clubs and whatnot. And you know what, I could make some of the best players in the world struggle to break 40 on that golf course. It's really fun, and I'll go out there. I'll normally only take like a driver, a 5-wood, and then my wedges. That's all I really need. Or I'll go take 6-iron, 8-iron, pitching wedge, sand wedge.
Little carry bag.
I don't have another bag. I do want to get another bag for that purpose. Yes, exactly. But just take odd numbered irons, and I'm hitting 6 or just take a 7-iron. And I got to hit the Tiger mega hook on the 7th hole because it's 370 yards, and I hit a 7-iron 180 yards. So I got to really get everything out of the first one so I don't have to kill the second one. But yeah, I love that golf course. The way my membership category works, I have a 50-round cap at the championship courses. So I played I played, I think 32 times or something at St. Martin's this year.
Wow. Yeah. Tremendous.
Cool. All right. What'd you think of James Franklin not taking a knee in the final couple of seconds against West Virginia?
I had left the stadium at that point, so I didn't actually see it.
Okay.
I was there. But
I think he threw the ball on 4th down to get the first down and then actually ran it in.
I think Jimmy looks at the spread. I'll be honest. Jimmy looks at the spread.
I know he made a lot of alumni very happy.
The line is telling you something.
Let's put it down.
That's
I had to ask you that.
There was a situation where they threw the ball. I think they were throwing the ball late too. And it's like, it's not like we beat up on them either. We only won
38-15, I think it was. And they got to go to West Virginia next year. So I'm wondering if I know that West Virginia's
I'm not worried
staff,
about that game.
They're going to be thinking about that one.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that game.
West Virginia stuff.
Hey, all we're worried about is Delaware.
Right.
How about I was up in Pittsburgh this weekend and we were doing like a boat tour past the stadium, which I can't believe it's not Heinz Field anymore. How's that possible?
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know
what's it called. Like Accenture or something? Like, do people not like ketchup anymore? Accenture? I don't even know what it is. But they were saying the record for attendance there is not a Steelers game. It is Pitt versus West Virginia, the backyard brawl.
The backyard brawl, man. Yeah.
Tremendous. Well, listen, Jack, We will make sure we share all your information and everything. It was awesome talking to you. I feel
Yeah,
like
great stuff.
I feel like you have a pretty big future in the game of golf, man. And we're excited
you.
because from the area, love to get out and play golf sometime for sure.
course.
And we appreciate you spending some time with us, and good luck in your fantasy draft.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the
Good
opportunity.
luck to
doubt.
Harrison.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. Nice to talk to Jack Hirsh from Golf Magazine, golf.com. It's just golf.
Yeah.
Just golf.
Follow him on Twitter at JR_Hershey, spelled HIRSHEY.
Yep. Love it. I mean, talk about being in the game. He's coaching a high school team. He's working for golf. Like he's all in with both feet. So good for him. We talked about the Ryder Cup a little bit, Harry. I mean, I don't know how much more we want to get into it, but that the European team shaped up and Adrian Meronk had some quotes today. He's pissed and
he's pissed.
Rightfully so. I mean, I think if one of those young guys, if Ludwig or Hogard stumble, I think Luke Donald is going to take a beating.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, one of these captains is going to take a beating in a couple of weeks because there's controversial picks on both sides.
Yep, you're right.
You look at, Zach Johnson with the JT pick. You look at, Luke Donald with, skipping Meronk for Højgaard, putting in Shane Lowry. I know everybody loves Shane Lowry, but he really is not in great form. But he's been in this environment before. But Meronk, I just look at this guy. Like, what does this guy got to do? He's third in the DP World Race to Dubai rankings. Okay, that's a big deal on that tour. He's fifth, and he was fifth in the Ryder Cup ranks. Fifth. Now, in America, that almost makes you like a lock, right? He won and was second at this golf course in the Italian Opens.
I mean, that's
and it's like a horse for course. I know they're going to set the golf course up a little bit differently, but this guy obviously loves the place.
What else does he have to do?
Right. Crazy to me.
That's basically what he said too. Like he's going through all the emotions, shock.
Yeah. Now Højgaard won here too. Back in 2021, he won on that golf course too. So he's got good familiarity with it too. But I'm just like saying, man, what does this poor, Meronk guy got to do, man? He's 6'6", blonde, Polish. It's disrespect.
Yeah.
It's funny they put out an article. He was like on a train ride with his girlfriend and he got the call from Luke and he's like, I'm going to be on the Ryder Cup.
Hello.
And they were like, sorry, pal.
Oh,
you didn't make the cut.
Oh,
gosh.
I think he's like, I was in shock. Like,
I would be too.
Yeah. So to your point, Harry, I think that's a fantastic point. It doesn't matter. Somebody's going to get crap because only one team can win. And
maybe him and Keegan Bradley should go to live. Screw it.
Maybe they should. Rory McIlroy's been talking a little bit more about live and all of a sudden talking about how he lived in Dubai for 5 years and it's a lot of his friends and have the same viewpoints. It's funny how that turns around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very funny because I remember a bunch of like I hate live quotes coming from him. So very interesting.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Well, speaking of live, they have
go for it.
The Senate is set to schedule their second public hearing on the PGA Tour's proposed deal with Saudi Arabia. So that's coming up on the 13th, and that whole focus is expected to be on the PIF's investment in the U.S. So
is there supposed to be details on how they're planning to work together, or just more on the framework?
It basically just mentioned that the focus is on the PIF's investments in the U.S. And this is the Senate's second public hearing. So we'll see how that shapes up, and hopefully we'll get some more news than we have in the past because it kind of hasn't been any, crazy updates with any additional news lately.
Yeah, no doubt. You want to spill some tea? Is it time
for
spilling some tea with
look,
Dave?
And look, is that a force?
Wow, look at that.
I was like, is that a force? My Wi-Fi wasn't working. So I was like, well, I'll boil a pot of tea and we'll see what's happening. We'll start it out light. I saw online that Patrick Harrington played Wednesday's Irish Pro-Am with his two dogs and they got access badges. We hear my dog playing with his toys in the background, almost every single podcast or jumping up on my lap. So I want to know if I can submit to the PGA Tour to get my dog some credentials so he
Absolutely.
can walk the pro-ams with me. I thought that was funny.
A little
We
bit
had these-
smaller than Podrick's dogs too, I think.
Did you see him? Two
Yeah.
huge Bernese mountain dogs, and he brought them to the K Club in the pro-am and was just walking up and down the
Yeah,
fairways.
it's
So-
awesome.
Take Big out to Silverado in a couple, another week or so.
Right.
you
We
go.
were thinking about it. Brandon was booking the tickets. I was like, let's leave him at home. That flight's
We're
a
too
little
busy
long
hiding
for
them
him.
from
So-
coyotes. We got to be careful.
Exactly. This dog has probably been on more flights than most people into a lot of crazy golf courses. But off the topic of dogs, let's talk about a pretty funny Golf Digest headline. Quote, just stupid. Justin Thomas's dad reacts to reports that he's no longer instructing his son. So JT was putting out some videos of his golf swing and everyone's like, oh, he fired his dad, everything else. So then Mike was quoted, if he did fire me and it was for the better, then what's the problem? He did mention that him and Justin have been going for less one-on-one instruction last year so that Justin could do more of his own work on his swing. But since May, they picked it back up just to let JT struggle. So that was kind of funny. Did you guys hear anything on that or see those headlines?
He fired his putting coach, or they parted ways with his putting coach. And the quote is he wants to take more ownership of his swing himself. I mean, the guy's been doing it long enough. He probably knows best about his own swing. So
yeah, I mean, but honestly, like you have to think about that. I mean, you have your dad, you're working with him for this long, and you probably figure it out and you're like, all right, at what time can I kind of step away a little bit? So there might be an element of it.
Yeah.
We shall see.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah. You want me to do one more? We got one last. Okay. I was like, I don't know how much time we have. I came into late, so I don't want to keep us going into it. But just in talks of the junior world golf, because I know we like to cover everything. So we have 3 Americans that are going to the World Junior Golf Championship. Back in February, the USGA launched the U.S. National Development Program, trying to develop promising junior players. Very low 7-figure $1 million budget, actually $3 million budget, but the goal is to create scholarships and beyond. But fast forward 6 months, next month, we're going to see 3 girls aged like 15 to 17 competing, representing the USA for the World Junior Girls Championship in Ontario. The funny thing I thought, though, that this is a national program and the captain or, the coach of it is the LPGA veteran Mo Martin, who won the British Open. So UCLA alum, but yeah. So we'll see how that shapes up. See if we can have, I thought it was a pretty good topic, talking about Ryder Cup, everything else representing the country. So we'll see what these juniors can do for Team USA.
Heck
Nice.
yeah. Love talking
Speaking
about all
of Team USA, the
Walker
Walker
Cup.
Cup.
Yeah.
How about that? They were down 3-1 early and came back and won that thing at St. Andrews.
What'd you think of that course here?
Well, it's funny you asked me that because it looks so different when they don't have the grandstanding up. Like you just really see all the, the contours of everything. You don't, a lot of times when you watch these events, you focus and you're like, well, you're drawn to where the grandstands are because they're usually by the greens or whatever. And it makes the whole landscape look so different. And I just thought it was really cool to see it without that.
Yeah, jaws are focused different. I didn't even think about that because it's not like it's just honed in right on the hole. You see just kind of what it looks like behind you there.
I mean, there's no way you could play a golf course like that without a caddy. There's no chance. I mean,
and if you follow our friend Jack Hirsh, he said Jack Hirsh posted and wrote about there was a wild good concession.
Yes,
with John Gall and Gordon Sargent in their singles match.
Yeah.
Gall, or I don't know, knocked it out of bounds on the road hole minutes later, and Sargent just birdied 18 to win the match. That was after that. So if you get a chance, check it out. It looks like a pretty interesting situation that happened there.
It's kind of like something, that would happen with me. We're like, it's good. Let's go. Let's go to 18. We got a cocktail to drink.
Well, let's talk about your golf right now, Harry. Let's talk about your game. Let's talk about all these courses you're playing. What do we got coming up?
I played Saturday up at Indian Valley with a couple of my buddies, longtime college buddies that I've known for 40 years. And we had a foursome. The guy, Jim Nearing, is a member at Old York Road, and Old York Road's a great place. I played there with him a few times, but they have a reciprocal arrangement with Indian Valley. And he's like, hey, why don't you guys come on up to Indian Valley on me? So we're like, yeah, I'd love to play up there. Man, that place, it's out in the middle. I think it's out near where Danielle grew up, kind of not far from where you grew up, right?
Like near Salcombe.
It's Telford.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not that far from where you are from. And it's gorgeous countryside. This golf course is phenomenal. I mean, it was beautiful. We had a tremendous day. I dunked in a birdie on the second handicap hole, the 15th hole, which is a downhill, uphill par 5. You got to go over a creek. And, my fourth shot was from about 70 yards because I got in trouble off the tee. And I put a 48-degree wedge, nice little soft shot. Boom, boom, right in the hole for a
little
birdie
fist bump.
to win.
You get a little fist bump action?
No, I had no fist bump from me, but a fist bump from my teammate who was up on the green, who knew he was in trouble. And so that ended the hole. So that was that. And then I made par on 17, which is a great sweeping dogleg left par 4 to win that hole. So we had a ball. Bottom line, golf course is tremendous. And there's a PGA Tour player that plays out of there too, by the way, and actually lives near or right off the golf course. But I'll keep that under wraps. Today, I played at Riverton, which was made in 1900. Okay, I played at the 1912 club. That's old. 1900. And this is a Donald Ross design over in Cinnaminson Township, New Jersey. I went to one prom in high school, and I took a girl from Cinnaminson High School to my prom. This is the first time I've been in Cinnaminson since 1984. Okay, we stopped dating.
I wasn't even born yet.
Right, exactly. There's a lot that's happened with me.
Our friend Jake Elliott's a member there, actually.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, this place is tremendous. I bought the foursome in the first tee auction, the one they do on Super Bowl weekend. Yeah. And I highly, recommend everybody get involved. That there's great places to play, including Riverton and much more. And we finally arranged to play it. We were trying to get a foursome. I could never get 4 people to. It's hard to get 4 people together. Yeah. To play some place that's not theirs. Yeah. And so I just said, screw it. My wife is off this week. The 2 of us went over. And Jack Wallace, the owner, he was just like so gracious. He said, put all your drinks, and I drank about 6 double vodkas in 94-degree heat and played 18 holes today with a couple of other members, Mark and Jeff, I believe his name was. And they're great guys. And that place is phenomenal. Can't wait to go back.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then you have another big round coming up at a
Jasna Polana tomorroon.
Oh, I thought your spell check was off when you.
That's it.
I'm like, what is he talking about?
It's like Jan with a J, right?
Polana. Yes.
I've been there.
Oh, you have? Okay.
It's
a TC course. I've never been there before. The facilities have to be amazing. Gary Player designed it. It's an old Johnson & Johnson family farm that I believe I don't know if they donated the land or sold the land, but TPC came in and put it up there, and they named it after the name of the estate, Jasna Polana. So I'm looking forward to that.
Tremendous.
I'm like you, Moose, when B first said it, I'm like, Johnson Polana. I'm like,
and as I mentioned, Greeny and I finally get to reciprocate. I've played in his Green Valley member guest for 3 years. I finally bring him over to mine. I saw, we had our friends from the Mobile Cigar Company. They're coming back for this outing. They were at our outing.
They're great.
I mean, some of the contests they're doing here are amazing. They have a break the glass challenge. They have a glow ball at night challenge. It's going to be a blast. But you know what, Har? Greeny and I have to step up and perform. And I know we're going to do well. And here's why. He's in a pickle on Saturday with his wife, where he's committed to being someplace that if we're doing well, he's going to have a problem. So I know that we're going to play well just because, just so he has torture everyone.
Yes.
So,
I mean, so he's going to stay committed to being your partner, right?
Oh, yeah. He's not going to go anywhere. And he said it, but he's going to blow stuff up if we get there, and it's going to create a major controversy. And I'm all
just
for it.
Invite her to come out and watch,
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's he and I are married to sisters, and they don't love us most of the time.
Yes, they do.
They love us, but they don't love how close we are and how we play golf together. It drives them crazy. But yeah, looking forward to it. I was over there today, my buddy Dom and Andy from the Phillies, and we got a little 9 holes in, and just we're walking around. But I'm not going to do a practice round tomorrow, but I am going to get into the par 3. They're at 5 p.m. They're doing a par 3, and then a happy hour on Thursday, before it even starts on Friday. So
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, the calendar of events for this thing is
I was going to
tremendous.
say you have that, and then the following week or 2 weeks after
Yeah.
coming up to Scranton.
Yeah, talk about that, Daniel. How's things coming along with that?
Things are coming along so well, full field, everything's booked. We have a couple just injuries that we're replacing, but we have such a large wait list. So, but the thing I'm most looking forward to is, a possible practice round with you two and getting our first official photo.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been together how many times and we forget to get one every single time. So
I
we'll
think
make
if
sure
we
that
could
that
do an
happens.
early tea time on Friday, we could swing it. It would
Yeah.
have
Hey,
to
I
be
know somebody. So you tell me
Yeah.
what you want. I'll
Oh,
set
yeah.
it up. We'll get out there. We'll set up the podcast. I'll
Yep.
text you the tee sheet of the practice round on Friday ahead of time, Thursday evening. We'll
Yep.
take a look. We'll have a ton of featured guests on here. We'll line some up for future episodes so we can keep bringing some golf talent to the pod.
Tremendous. I love it. I love it. So, Harry, there is golf this weekend, and there is golf to gamble on. So we must talk about the Horizon Irish Open at the
Yeah.
K Club right outside of Dublin. Last played here in 2016, where Rory McIlroy won it, and he's obviously the favorite in the Irish Open. A lot at stake here, I think, because of, some of the guys on the European side that are playing in it. I talked about how I think I'm going to fade Meronk because I feel like his head is probably scrambled right now. But what are you seeing for this one?
Well, I'm going to take him. I
right.
think he wants to stick it right in Luke
like
Donald's eye. Okay. So I'm going to take Mr. Meronk in a top 10, at least at plus 240. And then I saw Rasmus Højgaard. The other, there's also some things where they could interchange these Højgaards because they look exactly alike. So let's say the one goes out and plays like crap. They put in Rasmus on the other 9 for the alternate shot. You never know. They might be up to something here. But I'm going to take Eddie Pepperell, who's one of my favorite players on the DP World Tour, minus 120 over Rasmus Højgaard in a matchup. And then here's a couple of names for you, Moose. I'm going to take Fabio Zanotti, minus 135 over Wico Nienaber from South Africa.
Is that your new favorite, Moose? Wico Nienaber.
I like that one. That's tremendous. That's some deep cut knowledge right there, Aaron Hayes. You don't get
I'm
that
up way
anywhere
too
else.
early on Saturday morning.
As we continue to see the line with DraftKings. Is that it, Harry, on your dance card right now?
You got to
That's
end
it.
it with
I'm out.
Nienaber.
Yeah.
I think Lowry at that 2,200 number, I think people have been talking about him a lot, and I think he wants to play well. He has a T9 here last year. I do like that Rasmus play. It's a nice number at 6,000. I also like Aaron Rye at plus 3,500. Matt Wallace, he had the second in the Czech Masters, and he has some pretty decent odds, whereas Matt at 5,000. And then Minwoo Lee, consistent tee to green player, 15th at the British Masters at Belfry, which is very similar to this course. So keeping an eye on that gentleman as well and see how things progress.
Tremendous. I mean, all the great golf courses throughout the country of Ireland, and they play this at the K Club.
Yeah,
like,
which isn't
really?
like
come on.
I know.
You got to
That's
do
why
better.
that's why the dogs are allowed.
You got to do
exactly. Exactly. Well, listen, great stuff, guys. We will we'll try to get this coordinated so we can get up to the Country Club of Scranton for the NEPA event because we'd love to be there and see everything that's going on. So I'll get to work on that.
Too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Love it up there. And thanks again to Jack Hirsh from Golf for coming on. And we will be back next week. Thanks a lot.